All right, everybody. Welcome back to Movie Talks and Chill. We're your hosts. I'm Tony Serrato.
I am Gavin Butts.
I am Patrick Wall.
And in this episode, we have not in a while, yes. What's the matter?
Okay, we got
What's
bars.
the
We got bars. I wasn't seeing
I
bars.
got taps on my leg going on underneath.
I wasn't seeing bars come up on
We've
the
had
background.
some technical issues the past few weeks, so we want to make sure you could hear our voices.
I
Exactly.
didn't know if it was friendly or really friendly.
Is that you or the snake?
Yeah, I got a hand on my thigh. All right, there we go. We're not talking about hands on thighs.
This is what we get for talking about Wayne's World before we start recording.
But we haven't talked about, specific actor or director or anybody in a while. So we said, hey, why don't we do that?
And I know I just said Wayne's World, but it will not be Dana Carvey or Michael Myers.
No,
No.
Mike Myers.
Mike Myers.
Michael Myers is the psychotic killer from Halloween.
Jeez.
But he did marry an ex-murderer.
We've been doing this for almost 4 years. Get your head right.
Yeah. Darn
rookie
it.
What in the
mistake.
past 4 years makes you think that's ever going to happen?
God, he's right.
But
Aneurysm.
there is a connection, though, to Mike Myers, who was on SNL. This
That's
person
true.
was also on SNL.
In the beginning
Was the
days.
very first cast members of SNL, and that would be Mr. Bill Murray.
Da, 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 da.
Yeah, Bill, we love you.
No one will believe you.
Yes,
We believe in you.
Believe you. So we decided we're going to talk about Bill Murray and his illustrious career
Indeed.
because he has done a lot,
Oh, yeah.
a whole lot, whole bunches, honey bunches of oats worth of work.
Done several good cameos, too.
Yeah, and he's just an interesting guy all around. So let's kick it off. We'll start off normal favorite.
Kingpin. Good old Ernie McCracken. I love that movie. It's so hilarious. It's just him being the antagonist, and he tries to teach the character how to be a hustler, and then he gets his hand removed and the ball returned. Which I played bowling for a long time. It would hurt, and you would definitely need to go get a cast put on your hand if a ball smacked into it, but you wouldn't lose it. Like, there's not like a grinder in there that's just going to turn it into mincemeat.
It's the movies.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the
Hence.
movies. How would they have a plot hole like not having a hand? That didn't really happen. So,
But
yeah, at least they didn't say he lost it to a bookie. Because they,
I
do,
do
they
like when-
typically just take fingers.
yeah, right?
But you're a father. Yeah, I'm a fucking priest. Like, you're a goddamn bowler.
Well, I also kind of got the idea because I told you guys offline. I'll tell the audience now. I had been watching. I like the show Hot Ones.
Yes.
Where they eat the hot wings and he has all the people. Just watching the people try to suffer through this. So Bill Murray did an episode recently. I happened to come across. I don't know if it's a newer episode or if it just happened to pop up on YouTube. Available, whatever the case may be. I saw it. Number one, he didn't flinch through any of them, even up to the over 2 million Scoville one.
Oh.
But he got to learn a little bit of interesting fun facts. So it's funny you brought up Kingpin because there was something he asked him about Kingpin, and he was asking him. There's that scene near the end where he bowls like 3 strikes in a row. He's like, "Did you actually do that?" He's like, "I will say this: every shot that they took where I bowl, I actually made a strike
Oh.
in every shot." And he's like, he was asking about the people's reactions, and he said, it was actually the people were reacting to the bowling.
Yeah.
And he's like, so it wasn't really acting because he's like, you're able to work the crowd based
Right.
on their reaction of you making a strike. And he said it was actually a lot more fluent than people think. It wasn't like a prepared thing.
Huh.
Yeah, I spent 2 months practicing. I got really good. Rolled 3 strikes.
So that's the fun story about Kingpin. He liked the ridiculousness of the character,
Yeah.
but he said, the scene where it's the final tournament.
Yeah.
He
I
said
just
a lot
love
of
how
that-
like he's so frazzled, like his toupee is
Yeah.
just like
Well, no, it's the
flying.
comb over.
Yeah.
The comb over is sitting up over here.
What about you, Gavin?
For me, it's going to be Stripes all day.
When they steal the U.S. Army's secret technology, which is a Winnebago with a
Yes.
couple of TVs in it.
Yes. Exactly. Yeah.
Harold Ramis too was right. He was
Mr.
the
Harold
partner.
Ramis. Yep. And I love the sit down that he has with the because when they're going in to sign up for the army, he's like, "So are you two gentlemen homosexuals?" No. Yeah, he's like first he was like you mean like flaming?
Yeah.
And then Bill Murray comes in and is like, "No, but we are willing to learn." And then it was like, "Have you guys ever been convicted of a major crime?" It was like, Oh no, never convicted.
Never
No.
convicted.
That whole interview is just stupid.
Almost reminds me of Sergeant Bilko a little bit, and just how they like play the game. Like, we're in the army, but we're still gonna fuck around and do whatever we want.
And they have John Candy there too.
Yep.
A lot of people.
Good old John Candy.
And there's somebody, this is not off Hot Ones, but where my uncle lives in the area, him and his wife, at my grandparents' old house, and up the street, there's a newer neighbors, right? Maybe they've been there for a while, but they have all these older vehicles, and one of them looks almost like that
Like that
Winnebago. It's that style, like
Yeah.
that old school.
But it's not like
the
army
front
green
pointy
all
Giant
around.
square.
Yeah, yeah, it was very, very similar. I'm like, and me and he's seen the movie a million times too, and I think that may have been how I first saw it was with him. And I was like, "What's with the full armored assault vehicle from Stripes up the street?" He's like, "Oh yeah, the Winnebago." But it does. I'll have to take a trip down there.
Yeah.
It's only 5 minutes from here, so
Oh,
one day
yeah.
I'll drive by and be like, "There it is." But I don't know if they're movie lovers, but the guy's got like an old school Cadillac or Lincoln that looks like it came out of Donnie Brasco.
Ooh.
Oh wow.
I mean, it's just like all these older vehicles. They're not in restoration form,
Yeah,
but
they're
they're
just-
just like it's still lasting.
Right.
And somehow, or the Winnebago, they're just like, we can't get rid
it's
of it.
still existing
Yeah.
somehow.
Yes, maybe the Winnebago's like in case of the zombie apocalypse or something.
You mean a Wannabanga? Giggity.
All right, winger. I'd like to give a
It's
big
Quagmire, by the way.
big shout out to our big toe, Sergeant Hulka.
Sergeant Hulk.
All right, hot shot.
Uncle Hulk?
Stripes is good though. Stripes is
It's very good.
Solid first pick.
The mud wrestling scene. John Candy gets in there and takes on like 8 chicks.
That's good stuff. I like it.
I can't remember the lead. He was on Night Court.
John Larroquette. I can never pronounce
Okay,
his last
Larroquette.
name. Larroquette.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah,
He was.
he was like the major or something, or the colonel or something. And I like this where he's watching the women in the binoculars and taking a shower. He's like, God, I wish I was a loofah.
Yeah.
It's been so long since I've seen that movie. I can only remember like bits and pieces.
And then the general finally comes in. He's like, Major, sir.
He jumps up.
Yeah. It starts freaking out.
What about you, Mr. Tony? I think you've said it on multiple occasions what your favorite movie of all time
Yeah,
is.
I don't know. I don't think I know what this is.
I don't know.
Gone in 60 Seconds.
Yeah. Yeah. Lord of the Rings.
The Fault in Our Stars.
Part 2.
Part
Lord
two.
of the Rings. Part 3. Ghostbusters obviously is one of the ones. The only problem with saying that's my favorite Bill Murray movie is because it's not like he was the
Main
number
star.
one main
Yeah.
star.
Yeah.
It was an ensemble cast of main stars, all of which are wonderful. I love all of them. Well, him and Harold Ramis doing Stripes too. So I don't know if I could put that for my favorite just Bill Murray movie.
Fair enough.
There are so many, but I'd say if I really had to say, like, I love Groundhog Day.
It's a solid movie.
Groundhog Day is fantastic. But if like Christmas movie, I've always mentioned Scrooge is my number one go-to for Christmas movies. But
Yep.
if I have to really pick one right this second, I will go Groundhog Day because I love the scenes when he gets used to the days just keep repeating and the whole
He's
thing
letting
where
the gopher drive the car
Yeah.
and all that kind of stuff.
Okay, buddy. Here we go.
he's got the 2 drunk guys with me. They're all drunk together in the truck. He's like, well, if today isn't gonna continue tomorrow, then we could just do anything. He's on the like railroad tracks. I'm like, maybe you want to pull over.
Then we could just let us off.
Or when the guy that keeps seeing him, Ned Ryerson.
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
Ned
And
the
then
Head.
Ned. He punches
Needle
him
nose
one
Ned.
time.
Yeah, boom. Watch that first step. It's a doozy. But just going through the whole movie and the whole scene, and just like at first, he's obviously doesn't know what's going on.
No.
But then it's freaking him out. But then he just embraces it. And
Yeah.
he's like, he learns like the piano, like he's like doing all these things.
What's the female lead's name?
Oh, that was oh my God, I know it off the top of my head, but
Clearly
I
not.
can't say it. I know I see her. I can.
Oh, I can see her face.
Patrick, look it up.
Oh man,
Whoops. I'm trying to get there.
I think she was the one that was in Michael, right?
Andy McDowell.
Andy McDowell, that's right. Yes.
It's so yeah. She
Yeah, 'cause she was in Michael and stuff.
Yeah,
like
she
that.
was.
Yeah, yeah.
So I like when he's like, it's kind of at that moment of where he's just giving up and he's like, whatever, this is gonna happen. He's like, he's sitting in the diner with her, and she's like, "What are you doing here? We're trying to get, we got to film so we can get out of here." He's like, "No, I've come to see you that I'm God." It's like, "You're not God." It's like, "Really?" I mean, I guess maybe God's just, someone that lives the same day over and over again. If that's the case, me. And he like starts talking like about all the people. It's like in 3 seconds, the cameraman is going to run in and hand you a note that said, "We got to get out of here. There's, something about the storm in like 30 minutes." And he like knows everything about everyone in the diner.
Isn't that also the scene where he just ordered nothing but cakes to eat?
Yeah,
That's
he's
the scene.
eating everything.
That's the scene. Like he's got pancakes in front of him and like cakes and everything all over. He's like, "It doesn't matter."
It really doesn't, actually. You could spend the day eating whatever you want. It's not going to affect you tomorrow.
Right. I do like how even though he goes off the rails a little bit, like he's walking down the street and he's like, shh, and he runs and catches the kid so he doesn't die out of the tree. No matter what, he always made that part of his loop. Like, I'm going to save the kid from dying.
Yeah. It's, and when you finally see it, it's like, never once have you said thank you.
Well, he helps the one guy choking.
Yep.
He helps him. He gives him the Heimlich maneuver, but he becomes like this knowledgeable person of everything. He learns so many things.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing, because they never really touched on it. I mean, when he finally does, it's a different song, and it's actually a changed day, a new day for him. They never really, I guess he's remembered everything before that. Does he retain all that knowledge still? Because then he lived like a whole bunch of time. All these new things he learned, he could actually do.
Yeah.
If he really wanted to.
My question to the ending was the whole point of him going into a time loop just to make sure that he knew he was in love with the producer, or was just that a side effect that caused the loop
That
to
was
end?
the side effect. It was supposed it's supposed to change him.
Okay.
Yeah, because he was basically just
he was a prick.
rough around the edges kind of guy,
Yeah.
Didn't really want to deal with anybody else, and he was the news anchor. He did say
He was the weather guy.
Yeah, the weather guy. He did say that was another thing in Hot Ones, that scene where he's holding him, that gopher bit him twice.
Really?
He said the first time it got him, and then he said the second time he actually got like what the divers use, like that chainmail glove underneath his black glove, and he's like the tooth went through that. He's like, your teeth are like this big. And he laughed it off later. He's like, I got this, like, who is this trainer? And what is he training this thing to do? He's like, and as he's talking in Hot Ones about this scenario, because he shows him, he's like, the gopher, he's like, see that? He's like, I'm not flipping you off. But right there is where he got me, and he tells that story. And he's like, I just sounded so arrogant. Like, well, where's this trainer at? Like, how dare you? He's like, I'm holding this groundhog here. But I'd say that would be probably one of my favorites. I mean, I love all of his movies, but
Oh, yeah. We're easily going to fill an hour worth of Bill Murray movies.
Oh, yes.
We could probably fill an hour with his off-screen antics.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
I mean, how he randomly shows up to a college party and starts doing their dishes.
Or he's just at a random bar in a urinal, and some guy's taking a piss, and he's like, "No one's going to believe you," and then walks out.
Away. Look here, man. I got my Johnson in my hand. Don't be talking to me about that.
Even if you are Bill Murray.
Yeah.
And now I'm peeing at an upright angle a little bit.
And they are going to believe me now because there's a lawsuit coming, buddy.
Yeah. He can afford it.
Yeah, he can.
Actually, his lawyers probably be like, it's just Bill Murray. It's just what he
Yeah,
does.
they do like settle.
You really
settle,
can't be mad.
Settle.
And they're like, are you really that mad that this happened to you? Well, no. All right, then case dismissed.
They'd talk to him so long as it's your fault. Well, why were you holding your penis while Mr. Murray was in the room?
Yeah.
I was relieving myself. Were you relieving yourself because you saw Bill Murray?
No, because I had 3 beers.
Sure, buddy. 3 beers. A way to go, lady vagina.
I will say there's a movie where he's nowhere near the star. I wouldn't even call him a supporting actor, but he winds up just stealing the entire movie, and that's Groundhog Day. When he's trying to kill that gopher.
We talked about Groundhog Day.
Not Groundhog Day.
You're talking about Caddyshack.
Thank
Yes, Caddyshack.
I was like, we literally just talked about Groundhog Day.
Yep. I had a brain fart.
And
I'm
he
calling.
was trying to kill the gopher.
Yep. I'm going to call that on the back pain on that one.
It's on the back pain.
Oh, Billy, 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 Billy. Oh, Billy, 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 Billy.
Oh, Billy Boo.
Don't play golf when you get my age. Or at least do it correctly.
Or just stretch. That's it.
Fair? I did not do that.
Well, in Caddyshack, it's been in all the documentaries and all the behind the scenes stuff about it. There's that scene when he's talking to the one guy. He's got him pinned up like against the wall.
Yeah.
That is completely 100% improvised. That was not written.
Oh, really?
Oh, okay.
And he just went and started doing this rant. And I can't remember if it's because maybe they didn't have it written for him or something, or it was like because he was supposed to be like a very small role. In fact, they weren't sure if they were going to be able to get him to play the role because Chevy Chase was a bigger actor, and him and Chevy had this rivalry forever.
Yeah, they
Chevy
and then most
anyone,
people, yeah.
and anyone else that was on SNL had an issue with him.
Yeah.
From what I heard, he's a real pill behind the scenes.
Yes, he was. That was the thing is like he was America's sweetheart actor, but because he played Fletch and all the vacation movies, but he was an absolute dick of a human being.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one director almost quit, or one of them did quit, I think, or almost quit on a Christmas Vacation. I want to say that was Chris Columbus or something, or maybe he said he didn't want to do it after that, but he just was a little bit. That's what I read about it. But,
I'll ask my buddy see if he can call his cousin.
yeah, you do that. Call him up.
He can call him. He probably just won't pick up.
I do want to slightly retract because I came across one, and I don't know why this did not pop into my head. I'm actually ashamed of myself.
Oh.
In fact, I should be beaten for not having recognized this movie. What about Bob?
Oh, what about
I cannot
Bob?
believe that I didn't even think to put that in the.
What about Bob is
contention.
beautiful.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm wrong. This is one time. One time, America, you see me admit I'm wrong.
He thought he was wrong one other time, but he was mistaken.
I'll still hold up the Groundhog Day as one of my favorite movies of his, but we
This will
can't.
be the first time Tony edits a podcast.
No, I'm gonna let my wrongness be aware to everybody. I will do that.
No, like Groundhog Day, he's just gonna let this record, play again
Yeah,
and
and
again
again,
and
and
again
again. Yep.
and again
And I'm gonna learn all sorts of stuff. But no, what about Bob? I mean, what
about Bob?
What about
what not about Bob?
I remember seeing that movie, and it was just stupid weird. So Bill Murray plays this patient of a psychiatrist, and he's a little bit codependent on his psychologist. And his psychologist is like, I'm going away for a couple of weeks. We're going to have to cancel the next couple of sessions. And then he kind of loses his goddamn mind and then just follows him on his vacation.
Well, he's multiphobic. I mean, he's afraid of everything.
Yeah.
I mean, basically is what it is. And he just started seeing him, but he liked him because he felt comfortable because he gave him that book, Baby Steps.
Yeah.
Baby steps down the hall. Baby steps on the elevator. I'm on the elevator. It closes.
I am on the elevator.
Yes. It means take it one step at a time. Don't think of what you have to do the entire day. Just think about what you have to do to get out of the building. And then once you're out of the building, think about what you have to do to get across the street. Baby steps. But he's so impressed by it. That's why he gets obsessed with the doctor, and immediately he's afraid that.
And who was the doctor in that? Was that Richard Dreyfuss?
Yep.
Yeah.
Dr. Leo Marvin. Lake where'd they go again? It was
Lake Winnetonka or something like that?
Winnepetonka or something along those lines.
Winnetonka sounds very familiar, but I'm not 100% it's from What About Bob?
I know it begins with a W because I remember he's like, Winnipeg? It's not Winnipeg. But whatever it is,
I was
we'll
looking
find
for
it
it in
later.
there. It's not in the description.
But he goes, when they go, and he basically he's trying to get a hold of him because he does all those fake phone calls and stuff. And I think he calls about his sister or something. His sister's sick or ill, and then that's when he's like, "Do not call this number again." And then he ends up finding him in that town, that little vacation town. And I love actually the old couple in that town because they're basically, that was the house they were going to buy is the one he bought. And he's like, but they're so mad and they hate him. It's like, then he sweeps in with his bag of money. And she's like, you son of a bitch. And every time she says son of a bitch, he looks, he's like, she never says that. But she says it 7 times throughout the movie. And he always says, she never says that.
It's only when you're around.
Yeah. But it's a fun movie, and he gets out there, and then he's basically the family loves him, and he drives Dr. Leo Marvin,
Right.
to the point of insanity, to where he's the crazy one.
Yeah, it doesn't. Towards the end of the movie, he's like, "Come on, Doc, you should probably take some pills or go see someone and talk about your feelings."
Well, I liked when because he gets so crazy that he's tying Bob to that tree in the woods with a bunch of dynamite, and he's like thinks it's all part of the therapy, and he's like, all right, so I'm tied up, I'm tied up inside. Yes, that's what it is. I've got to break free the knots so I can be free to enjoy. And as he's running by, you see Richard Dreyfuss as Leo Marvin. He's like running by. He's like, free, free. And then it cuts to Bob. He's like, free. He's got the ropes undone. And he goes back to the house. And he leaves the dynamite inside because he didn't know it was real. He's like, Bob, what did you do with dynamite? He's like, oh, I left it inside. And then the house blows up. But he ends up in the psychiatric ward. Richard Dreyfuss does. The guy, he can't speak. He almost goes into like a comatose.
Catatonic.
Yeah, catatonic. And then they're like, the family visits him, and they're like, look who we brought here, Leo. And he's like, hey, Dr. Marvin. And he's like, he breaks out of it, and he's like, Bob, you did it. He's out of his
He's out of his fugue state.
And they all think it's great. And he screws up his interview because he had like the Good Morning Today or something coming to do the interview, and Bob ends up stealing the show on that one because they're like, well, who's this? Like, oh, I'm a patient. This would be great. We'll have a doctor-patient.
Right, yeah, a dynamic come in. There's another one with him like that, and I can't remember a whole lot of it because it's been so long since I've seen it, but it was The Spy Who Knew Too Little.
Oh, yeah.
And
Name sounds familiar. I don't think I've seen it.
It was so Bill Murray, like, he goes to see his brother. I think that's what it was. Like, was it in London that he goes to see him?
I know it was. I know it was overseas somewhere.
I want to say it was over in it was in England.
Yeah.
But so he goes over to see him, and his brother is like, he's like, he's like, it's kind of almost like the character. He's almost kind of like What About Bob? It's like, he's a very finicky, like he doesn't pick up on sarcasm or any of this other junk. So he ends up, he's like, all right, well, what are we gonna do here? I'll do one of these murder mystery things. And he's supposed to be like a private detective. Well, what happens is he actually gets, like, wherever he was supposed to go, he goes into the crime, and everything that happens is real. But he doesn't. He thinks it's all part of a gig the entire time.
He's almost like an Inspector Clouseau.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's almost kind of like a Pink Panther dynamic.
Yeah. Or like
shit works out in his favor.
Well, Inspector Clouseau just stumbled into clues and finding the bad guy.
And that's basically what he did.
Yeah.
He stumbles in on like all.
But
this
he also
stuff.
knows he's an inspector. He doesn't think it's like a game or anything like that.
True. But it's more like it. The things happen that needed to happen, but they happened by accident, not design.
It's like Baby's Day Out.
Yeah.
He's foiling gangsters just by walking through a warehouse. I don't want to spend too much time on this because it's a very popular movie, but quick shout out to Zombieland.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He got the raw end of the deal on that one. But he was hilarious in that movie.
Bill frickin' Murray.
He's like, watch this, I'm going to scare the kid. Douche! Oh,
Yeah.
You just killed Bill Murray!
Well, and they bring it up in the second one, too. Is like, you don't want to get married. I'm sorry, you don't want to get what? Oh, apparently some dude just shot Bill Murray, thought he was, oh no, that's terrible.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the second one, actually. I heard it was garbage.
It was all right.
It was all right.
It wasn't as good as the first one,
Well,
but
nothing
it wasn't
ever
garbage.
is.
Yeah.
The one thing I will say about the second one is that girl that they pick up along the way, the blonde hair girl.
Zoe Deutsch.
And just the scenes with her and when she thinks she's turning into a zombie, and later on, you're probably not going to watch it.
Well, even Woody Harrelson was like, the only reason she's alive is because zombies eat brains, and she doesn't have one.
Well, I need something good to watch after the massive turd that on Netflix that I watched yesterday.
Yes.
Well, this would be a good one because it's still a whole lot of humor in there.
Okay.
And they kind of meet.
I mean, Woody
the
Harrelson's
doppelganger
never a bad.
And they meet
the doppelganger version of themselves.
I've seen that clip. Yeah.
And it's the dude from Silicon Valley. That's
Guilfoyle?
No, not Guilfoyle. No, the main character.
Okay.
Not Owen.
I don't remember his
Luke
real
Wilson.
name. No.
Not Luke.
No, I'm talking about Silicon Valley. But yes, Luke Wilson plays the doppelganger of Woody Harrelson.
Yeah.
But Jesse Eisenberg's doppelganger is the main character from Silicon Valley.
Oh, okay.
The one who,
Jared, I think. No, that
not
was
Jared.
the business guy.
Well, I remember also
What
there
was
being...
That's how forgettable the main character in Silicon Valley is. We remember literally everyone else.
Richard Hendrickson.
That's also, there was a thing that they had interviewed when they were talking, they were interviewing some of the people for the movie, and they were like, how do they, spark up this role for you? And they said, well, apparently a couple of years back, someone said that I look like a poor man, Jesse Eisenberg, so. I was like, oh, damn.
And they do play off each other real well. And
Yeah.
Rosario Dawson's in it. So
Oh,
it
yeah.
Oh, you
helps
can never
it out.
say no to her.
Yeah, so I would say it wasn't bad. I mean, it's not the first one, but Zombieland was such a different type movie.
Exactly, yeah.
It was so unique that to try to continue it, yeah, you're not going to get the same
Level.
overall feel, but it's still good. I mean, I enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk a little bit more seriously, though. Like because Bill Murray has done serious roles.
Yes.
Or even if it's comedy, it's more dark comedy.
So The Dead Don't Die?
That could be one of them. Thinking
And
more
I
like
haven't seen that.
I'm more like
It's
Rushmore.
way deadpan. So,
Ah.
even Adam Driver is super deadpan in this movie. And sometimes those jokes land really well. And sometimes it's like, oh.
Sometimes it falls flatter than a joke.
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking more like stuff like you have, St. Vincent,
Oh, yeah.
Rushmore,
Lost in Translation.
Lost in Translation. I love that movie.
That was a good one.
That other weird one, Life Aquatica.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
with
where
Steve
he's-
Azuzu?
Yeah, that's...
That was
and
Wes
Owen
Anderson.
Wilson. Yeah, that was Wes Anderson.
He has a very unique style.
Yes,
I
he
could
does.
see his style a mile away, and it's outside of the Fantastic Mr. Fox, or is it the Isle of Dogs? Probably both.
Isle of Dogs.
Yeah. I genuinely cannot stand his. Asteroid City seemed like a fun movie, and I got 20 minutes into it, and I was like, God, you are there is a certain subsect of people that love your films, and I do not belong to that crowd.
I mean, and we could also talk about his biggest regret, Garfield, maybe. And
Still made him a lot of money.
I like how that brings it. He brings that up in Zombieland.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's what he's like. Any regrets? Garfield, maybe.
Still
And
made him a
the-
boatload of money.
Oh, and here's the
100%.
here's the spoiler alert for you at the end of Zombieland 2. Bill Murray's also in that.
Oh, is he an actual zombie?
No, it shows him like in the early days, him escaping an interview at the outbreak.
Oh, really?
And so he's out there touring, and it was supposed to be, I think, for like Garfield 2, because it never happened. And he was like supposed to be going out and doing promos for it, and Al Roker's interviewing him. And then Al Roker starts turning. And he's like, what is going on here? And he beats the daylights out of Al Roker, and he walks out, and there's like all the other crowd like freaking out. So he has to go ham and break his way out of the whatever studio that he's trying to get through.
Now, what's funny to me is he's listed as being in the movie Get Smart with Steve Carell.
Yeah, he's in there.
I've seen it like 3 times. I cannot remember
So
where
he was Agent 3. He was the guy in the tree when everything gets
That's
locked
right.
down. Yeah.
Yep.
Because that's why he's standing there. He's like, "You gonna come back this way?" He's like, I don't know. I know. Nobody wants to talk to the guy in the tree.
That's right. I forgot about that.
It's like, Agent 3, what are you doing? Yeah, communication went out, so they put me in the tree. So what's going on? How you doing? How you been? And that's all his lines.
Yeah. But I did like going back to Lost in Translation. I liked him and Scarlett Johansson's just their I don't know on screen presence together, like how they worked off each other, because you couldn't, in my opinion, pick two odder opposites.
Right.
Because Scarlett Johansson, she had done at that point like more serious stuff, and now she was way younger then too. Because it did put a weird dynamic. It was like a sexual tension kind of thing, but without crossing any real lines.
Exactly, yeah, without anything actually being like physically romantic.
It was almost like partial attraction, but also maybe partial like a father figure.
Yeah.
And
Respect.
Yeah, it was just, it was unique, but I really liked how that was done. Rushmore was just odd to me. I mean,
That one I don't remember.
so that's the one with, I'm going to butcher the stuff right now, because the guy, I'm not a big fan of him. He was in Funny People. He was the one that...
Seth Rogen?
No, it wasn't, well, with Seth Rogen, but he was the one that was one of the roommates that got the TV show Yo Teach.
Okay.
in Funny People. He was doing that horrible sitcom because they were all comedians. Can't remember his name, but he also did a TV show. He's just an odd character in general. Like every character he's played that weird version. But it's about the school is called Rushmore. It's like a private school, and he's like an elitist, but he's not rich like all the rest of them are.
Sounds like that Brendan Fraser movie from like one of his first like major acting roles, where he was a Jewish kid at a school, and then
Oh, this is way different. That was more of a like racist thing.
Yeah.
This is not a racist thing. This is more like he just thinks he's part of everything.
But
Like,
what was
he's
the
part
name of the
ev-
Brendan Fraser movie? Do you remember?
Oh God, I couldn't tell you. Off the top
Okay.
of my head, I'd have to look that up.
One of his first like major starring roles, if I remember correctly.
But in Rushmore, he basically has to go to this other school, and he still wants to stay connected with the Rushmore school. Bill Murray's this rich guy who happens to get connected with him. Somehow they befriend each other. They're both very odd, quirky people. The kid is in love with a new teacher that's starting. And, of course, obviously, she doesn't really want much to do with him because he's a student and he's young. Bill Murray falls in love with him. There's like this love triangle. Like Bill Murray was kind of dating her
You're thinking of
behind
Jason
the kid's
Schwartzman,
back.
by the
Jason
way.
Schwartzman, yeah. And it's just a weird movie. Like it's odd. I mean, there's a lot to it. It's not like Vivarium by any means. It's not horror or anything. But Luke Wilson's also in that movie. He's got a quick
Owen
spot.
Wilson.
No, Luke.
No, Owen. I just looked it up.
It's not Owen Wilson. It's Luke Wilson.
Owen Wilson.
It's Luke Wilson. In Rushmore?
Yeah. I'm looking at it right here. Here. Rushmore.
Yeah.
Owen Wilson.
Yeah, but his brother's also in it because there's a scene that he's in. So keep looking because the teacher starts dating him, and it's got the greatest line in it because he's wearing these scrubs, and they meet.
I stand corrected. Luke is also in there. The Wilson brothers are both
That's
in
the
this
one I
movie.
was thinking of was Luke though, because they meet him at dinner, and she doesn't tell them that she's got a date. She invites him, the kid, and Bill Murray to dinner. Doesn't tell him that she's with a date, and so the kid gets very jealous, and he just started being a jerk to him. But he's wearing the scrubs, and he's like, I like your nurse's outfit. He's like, oh no, they're OR scrubs, and he's like, oh, are they? I don't know why I like that line. It's a funny line.
Are they?
But it's like kind of like a mixture of like coming to age, blah blah blah. But Bill Murray and him end up kind of competing for this girl. It's weird. It's kind of interestingly weird though. But it was I can't remember the director, but I want to say it was like maybe one of their first films or something.
So I have Bill Murray's first accredited film pulled up. I don't know if you know this. I want to read the description, and I want to see if you can name the movie.
First, give me the year.
1975.
Okay, that's a helpful hint.
Okay. So here is the description.
Okay.
Blank is a 1975 French-Belgian adult animated comedy film directed by cartoonist Pika and Boris, German name. It is a parody of Edgar Rice Burroughs' Tarzan. The film was the first form animated film to receive an X-rated in the United States.
It was an animated film.
Yeah.
Then I would have no idea.
Tarzan, Shame of the Jungle. And he played the reporter.
Tarzan. Oh my god.
Shame of the Jungle.
I just wonder if someone's walking through there with a bell. Ding ding ding. Shame.
You could buy it on Amazon.
I probably will not.
Pass.
Pass. There's probably plenty of other animated stuff I'd rather watch, but
Like heavy metal.
I love heavy metal
I know you do.
because it's great. Tootsie.
Tootsie.
Wait, he was in that one too.
He played Dustin Hoffman's roommate.
Yep.
He was a playwright, and he was trying to get this funding for his play. And actually, that's one of the reasons why Dustin Hoffman was trying to get regular work to help him fund his play because he liked it so much.
Oh, really? It's been so long since I've seen it. I do know Dustin Hoffman was the one who couldn't find work, but he dressed up as a girl, and then he got like a starring role on like a soap opera or something.
On a TV network, yeah. Yeah, that was his. He was
Persona.
going on just to make like just a quick scene or try to just get a quick job, and he ends up becoming like the star of the show. And all these people write in and about it. I think Dabney Coleman's in that as well, if I remember correctly. And also Terry Garr, I want to say.
Terry
is in
Garr,
it.
she is the love interest from what I remember.
Yep.
And I didn't know this because I didn't see either one of these, but he's also in Isle of Dogs and The Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Okay. You're welcome. 2 Wes Anderson movies I've actually seen and enjoyed.
Correction, they did make a second Garfield. Maybe it was Garfield 3 they were doing. I know it was a Garfield movie that was referenced that he was being interviewed for.
He was in the second Dumber and Dumber, Dumber and Dumber 2. But
It's Dumb and Dumber.
No. So that was the Dumb and Dumber 2. One of them is the prequel, and I can't remember which one it was. Dumb and Dumber or Dumb and Dumber 2. One of them is
No,
the
Dumb and Dumber is the first one.
So Dumb and Dumber 2 or Dumb and Dumber. One of them is a prequel. One of them came out relatively soon after the box office smash that was the first one. Hey, you want to hear the most annoying sound in the world? No.
And don't forget that he also showed up and led the Toon Squad to victory in the original Space Jam.
Yeah.
No, not the one with LeBron James. I hope that movie burns in hell.
What'd you say? I'm sorry, I missed it.
Space Jam.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
Led the Toon Squad to victory.
Yep.
Gave Michael Jordan the assist. Okay, so he's like, Michael, I'm open. Never mind, you got it.
Well, we forgot also he was in the original first couple of the Charlie's Angels.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He was Bosley.
Bosley, yeah.
He was in the first one.
Yeah.
Just first one?
Yeah.
Just the
I didn't
first
remember.
one.
Bernie Mac
was the
That's
second
right.
one. Yeah.
But then they did like a reboot of it too, and then
Yeah.
that had nothing to do with them after that. And here's so I love this movie. This is like an old school.
Hold on,
one.
I just want to call out that this list is garbage because Space Jam is not listed at all in here.
Well,
It's on
then-
my list.
Not on mine.
Well, your list sucks.
I've got Osmosis Jones. I didn't know he was in that movie.
Yeah, he was the live action character, so they were in his
Oh, yeah,
body.
that's right. He's the guy who ate the shell.
He's Frank.
Yeah.
Thank Frank.
He's
He
free.
was the one who saw the oysters and said, ooh, free lunch.
Yeah, right.
At the science fair. And then Osmosis Jones hits the evac button and he barfs all over like the teacher or something.
Then he has a zit explode on her face.
Yep.
Well, there was one from 1979 that I loved, and that's called Meatballs.
Meatballs.
Yeah.
The summer camp one.
Yes.
And I want to say that the kid that was in that one, I think that was the same kid that played in a later movie in the 80s called My Bodyguard. The kid that basically he was kind of trying to mentor, help out to kind of go through that big race at the end that he didn't know he was going to be able to do. But what a good movie Meatballs was. It's just fun.
It's just good old
It's just goofy
fashioned
fun.
family entertainment.
Here's
right
a
there.
movie I never thought he would be the star of called The Razor's Edge.
Mm-hmm.
Larry Darrell, played by Bill Murray, goes on a journey for a meeting after being exposed to the horrors of World War I, traveling to Paris and then to the Himalayas as he seeks inner peace. That doesn't sound like the Bill Murray that I know of. But
Well, he's doing a lot. Like I said, he's getting more like kind of trying to do serious stuff.
I was -1 that movie came out, so
You were
I was
negative one.
it was
negative.
1984 when that came out.
I was
Negative one.
Well, also like one him doing animated that I liked was it was classified as live action, but his character was animated. It was Jungle Book.
Oh, that's right. He was Bob
he was
Baloo.
He was Baloo the Bear, and when I saw him get cast, and when I saw some of the cast that was in there, Christopher Walken is
Who was the snake?
Louis.
Oh.
No, Scarlett Johansson was the snake,
Oh, I did not know that.
but he was King Louis.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, hi, is me, King Louis. I'm the guy. I'm like, it's like that kind of worried me. And then when I saw him as Baloo, I was like, Baloo's like more kind of like excited comedy. And I was like
more of a
think
John Candy character.
I didn't think Bill Murray was gonna fit that, but the way that they portrayed the bear about how lazy he was, I was like, okay, this is freaking perfect.
Kind of
Because you could hear it in his voice too.
Kind of reminded me of how I felt about the Super Mario Brothers movie, the animated version, the casting of that one. I was like, I don't know how this is going to work. And then I watched the movie and it was like,
me.
Like 80% of these actually work. So
Yeah.
Chris Pratt should have been fired. But Charlie Day as Luigi, I thought that was pitch perfect.
100%.
100%. Just going through some of these because
like
I've seen some of these.
in the meatball. Yeah, I've never seen Broken Flowers.
I've heard of the Grand Budapest Hotel, but I've never seen it.
The Darjeeling Limited.
Well, if we need to kill a couple of minutes, we can
No,
talk
I mean-
about his cameo in Ghostbusters Afterlife, which I think he was on the record of saying beforehand, like, I don't want to be in this movie. Like, Ghostbusters is behind me. We're done. Please leave me out of this.
Well, he was disappointed after the second one because while they were filming the original second one, he just like he didn't feel it was gonna do well. Period. Not to mention the fact that it was 1989 and they were also going up against Batman first coming out. But we can all agree the second one was nothing nearly as good as the first one.
Taken on its own, it's a decent film, but when you can't disassociate it. It's called Ghostbusters 2. Like, you have to refer to the first one.
Yeah.
And compared to the first one, it's
Not good.
Yeah.
Not
the whole
nearly as good.
Statue of Liberty thing.
I was going to say that's probably the only scene that's good.
Oh, I was going to say that was weak.
Well, when he's coming downtown and they got the music playing, no, that's awesome.
The toaster jumping was awesome.
You haven't been sleeping with you, have you? Moving on.
You dog. You dog. But I will say, though, yes, he was unhappy with that. And then, like I said, they went up against Batman, so obviously their ratings were down. But, like, Ghostbusters 3, which eventually became Afterlife, was going closer to what they wanted with Dan Aykroyd. He was the one that kept pushing, like, let's do another one. Let's make up for what happened here. We can do better. Actually, it kind of worked out because given that timeline, making it a second-generation thing, a separation, and bringing back and referencing all the original stuff like they did in Afterlife, I think it was better timing. I don't think it would have been a good movie to do a third one in like 1992.
Yeah.
Forgive me if I'm wrong. You might know this better than I do, but I think the whole cast considers the Ghostbusters video game that came out in the early 2000s to be the canonical third movie or the third story in the series.
You would know better than that. 'Cause I'm not.
If I
in the
remember
video
correctly,
games,
the entire cast is like, this is the third movie we wanted to make, but we just didn't get a chance to. So the story they told in the video game is the story they wanted to tell on screen, and then Afterlife would technically be the fourth story they wanted to tell.
yeah. Okay.
If I remember correctly, the game came out in like 2003.
Fine.
I'm just because I'm not a
Motion
big
carried.
gamer. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I can't speak on that.
The chair acknowledges the third member of Movie Talk.
I don't recall counsel.
Yeah. I don't recall that.
So let me ask you this, because we got a little bit of time. So, because we basically we haven't touched on every single movie, because there are some even that I haven't seen yet, just because maybe I haven't had time. But I was also telling these guys offline that there was a movie called Riff Raff that he did with Pete Davidson, Ed Harris in it. There's a few other people in it. But it's basically almost
But I
like
kind
a
of stopped
gangster type
listening
movie.
once you said Pete Davidson. I don't think he's good.
I'm not a fan of Pete Davidson either. However, the rest of the cast seemed really good.
Okay.
And he did say he had a lot of fun. Bill Murray said that was also on the Hot Ones thing. So, but he was saying, check it out. It's a funny movie. But apparently he's supposed to be like either a gangster or ex-gangster or something. So I've never seen him in that type of role really. And from what I could tell or remember, in terms of like a mobster or gangster type. So that's why I was going to ask you guys, what type of role would you like to see Bill Murray in? Or is there any type of personality trait or movie type, specific type movie that you would like to say, hey, I want to see Bill Murray in that?
I want to say he's been like the bad guy in something. Like the closet.
Kingpin. He was
basically the bad guy.
Yeah,
Kingpin.
well, I would say he's more the heel in
Which
that.
is the
not
bad
really.
guy.
No, not necessarily. I'm talking
Antagonist.
about like the one that he is pulling the strings behind the scenes. I mean, because technically in St. Vincent he was a bad guy. He was an asshole the whole movie, except for the last 20 minutes.
But just because you're an asshole doesn't mean you're a bad guy. It just means you're an asshole.
Well, that's the same thing with him and Kingpin. He was an asshole.
But he was also the. This is going to be a
So as a bad guy, what would you like to see him do?
I would like to see him like kind of like we talked about with Hugh Grant, kind of like be the psychopath bad guy, because I think he could deliver that intelligent deceitfulness and then make it almost funny, because the whole time you're like, oh, nothing's gonna happen, and then wham, he kills somebody.
All right, but you don't have anything like specific. I mean, that
That would be
wasn't
like the
specific,
role
but
that I would like to see him in. That would be. I think
Okay.
that would be a good role for him,
Okay.
because he could deliver that comedy. He could still have like the one-liners, but the one-liners would be like so off-putting, like deadpan, that it comes off as psychopath.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
What about you, Mr. Tony?
Disney, call me.
Call
him.
us. We're partners.
Yeah. Call us.
Imagine Bill
3,
Murray as a
4.
Jedi.
Yeah. Bill Murray hey, that could be. Like, he could be like a retired sentinel. He doesn't have to do any lightsaber battles,
I don't know if I could see that. Like, I would. It'd be funny to see, but
I think he would be a better Luke Skywalker that lost his way than they made Mark Hamill try to play.
I could see him being aloof Jedi.
Exactly,
He's
like,
like,
that's-
I'm formally trained, but I really just don't give a shit.
It's like, you feel that thing around you? Yeah, well, it's called the Force. And then he like pushes her over. See? Force.
Yeah.
And then like walks off.
That's like that Jackie Chan and Jet Li movie where the white kid from Brooklyn goes back into ancient China.
Forbidden Kingdom.
Yeah, and he's like, I thought you were going to teach me kung fu. Jackie Chan gets off the horse and he hits him with a stick. He's like, "Here, attack. Tomorrow we learn defense."
Yeah.
I think I would like to see him as a. So, like I said, we've seen him do like serious, but I want to see him do like serious sad.
Ooh.
And by that I mean almost like he's in a mental institution, not because he's full of crazy, but like maybe his
Self-admitted depression because his wife died or something.
his wife and his kid died because of him or something. Maybe he was drunk driving and driving his family and kills him.
Ooh.
But then the whole thing is like kind of like a psychiatry thing where he's coming to terms with all the things. We don't know any of this stuff until the movie's going on. Kind of like how Good Will Hunting was, where he kind of broke Will down, the Robin Williams dynamic with him. I think I would like to see that, but Bill Murray be the patient.
So he would be the Matt Damon character in that situation?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but not relating it exactly like
I know
Good Will
what
Hunting,
you
but
mean, though.
he was kind of going there. But in this it would be very much just a completely like no joy whatsoever in life. Not that he's crazy or psychotic or ready to kill himself. Maybe he thinks about it all the time, or maybe that's why he got put in there. But just I want to see him dramatically talk through sad moments and have that breakdown moment, because I don't think I've ever really seen Bill Murray do that.
Yeah.
Not that I want to be sad, but I would love to see how he would pull that off.
Right.
Because I think if he does it right, everybody here would probably be tissues deep in sadness.
Why are you trying to make I'm not crying, just allergic to jerks.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm allergic to bullshit.
But that's what I would like to see.
Nice. So we've talked about Bill Murray. We've talked about his range, his excellent comedic experience. He's done a little drama. He's clearly, and I'm sure he's produced and wrote a few things. So this...
Well, he's a musician.
He's also a musician, and he's great in real life, apparently, according to the stories that we've heard. So the role I really want to see him in is his next one, because he'll put that Bill Murray spin onto it, either with improv or just acting the way he does to make it his own. And I really just want to see what he can do next.
Well, also it's the ire that comes with him too, because so many films that he's said he's going to work on, he doesn't show up until they start filming.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't do the dress rehearsal. He doesn't do like.
He doesn't even sign the contracts. From what I heard.
Yeah, exactly. Until day one, it's wild. But to be able to have that kind of
clout,
fuck you fame, basically.
Yeah. But I'm just interested to see what he's going to do next. Like, I'm sure it's There'll probably be a little bit of improv, or they'll, like I just said, he'll put that little Bill Murray spin onto it to make it his own and either bring out the comedy or enhance the drama a little bit. So I'm really excited. I want to see him in his next role. So next time I see, oh, Bill Murray's in that film, let's go see it. That's what I really want to see.
He said the Bill Murray.
The Bill Murray.
Yeah.
Welcoming to the stage,
Murray.
all the way from Hollywood, California, Mr. Bill Murray.
Well, going back to the musician thing, I do know this because I read about all this stuff and saw some documentaries about it too. Is he'll just go like to certain bars or clubs and stuff, and then he'll just walk up and just start playing.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
And
He'll-
because he
he'll
does
start
have
jamming.
Yeah, he does have a band, I believe, but he will just have his stuff with him, and then he'll just like walk up and he'll just start going up and singing or grabbing an instrument and playing with the band. So, and who's gonna stop him?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, they're like, first off, they're like, hey, sir, don't you? Oh, my God.
Group selfie.
It's Dr. Venkman.
Yeah, it's I'm never washing this guitar. You haven't washed it once.
Tell me, how do you clean the strings?
Yeah.
Oh, you replaced. That's probably the best way to do it.
Yeah.
Did you just sign my guitar?
I don't want to gatekeep Bill Murray, but I kind of have to.
Hey, he walked up here.
He walked into my house.
Exactly.
But I think also I would like to try to think now. Okay, well, let me ask you this: can you picture him as any Marvel or DC character?
Well, he was in Quantumania.
He was.
Yeah,
So he's been in the MCU.
but can you see him as an actual
Like
character,
lead character?
like an actual character?
Yes. Going back to the Incredible Hulk with Edward Norton, Mr. Green that Edward Norton talks to all the time, and he becomes
The leader,
What? Yeah.
the guy that becomes the leader. Yeah.
Mhm. I could see him being in that role. I don't know if I could see him expanding on that role in a different movie, but I can see him being Mr. Green and then having like the real creepy smile at the end of the movie where the blood drips into the open wound and you can see it like expand a little bit. I could see him being in that role. But then again, I just really like that
I could
movie.
see him being Professor X. And just being
That's
like
that's
Like an
tough-
alternate version.
Yeah,
like in
exactly.
one in the
Yeah.
other Earths or something.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, we've got the multiverse of madness, man. And yeah, because, in Deadpool 3,
Wolverine.
or Deadpool Wolverine, they kill his Charles' sister, because in alternate universe, he had a twin. But yeah, he could definitely be the arrogant
Know-it-all.
Yeah, exactly. He could be the Sheldon version of Professor X.
But I'll tell you also maybe not a Marvel or DC or comic book thing, but I could actually see him being in a horror movie.
He was in a horror movie.
Not Zombieland. I don't consider
No.
it a horror movie.
The Dead Don't Die.
Well, yeah, but
I mean, to be fair, I've seen it, so it's not that
A
scary.
psycho thriller.
maybe a psycho thriller or a suspense thriller. Maybe not horror in general, but like I could almost see him playing the role of like if they rebooted again Poltergeist, like in the
Like
original
being like the
Poltergeist,
dad or
no,
something?
the old man.
Oh,
Remember
okay.
the old man preacher guy that was in the original one?
Yeah.
It's like, is your mom and daddy home? It was so creepy. Like I could picture him doing that, or if it's like a suspense thriller that's religious based, where there's actual like angels and demons and stuff, being like a preacher, like I could
Like E.
picture,
McGregor and Angels and Demons.
yeah, but no,
Yeah.
not in the Vatican, but like in like a small town, like just a small town
Oh, okay.
Baptist or Protestant
Right.
preacher. I could picture him with the white collar on and
Yeah.
stuff, and just telling people to repent
I'm
their
a fucking
sins.
priest like you're a bowler. Get over it.
Yeah. But I could see that. I could see him playing like, because he does. I mean, really, at the end of the day, I love him, but he has a certain creep factor look about him
Yeah.
as he's
Yeah.
aging. That you could kind of be a little leery about it if you didn't know who he was.
Right.
But yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
And we've got to touch on a couple other cameo appearances. The Monuments Men.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
I think he was like one of
This
the
is a George
generals.
Clooney movie during
Yeah.
World War II.
Yeah. And Wild Things.
Yes.
I haven't seen that movie in a very
He
long
was the
time.
lawyer.
Yep.
who got all the money, and then he was the lawyer that funneled everything at the very end too. Spoiler alert.
You
For a movie that
ruined
came
it.
out in 1994.
Yeah. 8.
98.
You ruined it, man.
Damn
Sorry.
it. And I don't think I ever saw Tootsie.
Tootsie?
It's the one with us. We were talking about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I can't remember seeing it though.
Oh, you would like it. It's kind of like I think it was what inspired Mrs. Doubtfire later on.
And White Chicks.
Yeah, oh God, I don't want that inspired from that. Tootsie was just a good movie. I mean,
Yeah, it was like same year or the year after of Stripes. It was around that same time.
yeah.
So there's another one on here that I haven't seen, On the Rocks with
Never heard of it.
Rashida Jones.
Yeah, I haven't seen that either.
Came out 2020.
Rashida.
We'll have to look for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now I have something to do today.
There you go. I thought we were going golfing.
Shut up.
I'm not
Virtual.
going golfing today.
Virtual.
Oh, my bad.
I need at least a week to heal before I can go golfing again.
But we
I've never
do-
read that book before.
What?
Things losers say.
Yeah.
Got him.
Shit. All right, that's it for Movie Talks and Chill. My name is Patrick Wall. I need to go put some aloe on that burn.
Yeah, that was a sick burn right there. SICK.
With 2 C's.
Yes, S-I-C-C.
Okay. Well, you're lucky. We are about out of time. So
Thank Christ.
Patrick's got to get some aloe
I
vera.
saved it to the end.
And a
Yeah.
bottle of whiskey.
Yeah.
Follow with whiskey.
I want 17 ibuprofens.
Yeah. 10 whiskey sours.
Yeah. Actually,
Fuck
I
the
haven't had one of
sour.
those in a while.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
I haven't had a whiskey sour in a long time. But yeah, so aside from that, though, aside from our whiskey sours and his sour
Burn.
And him just being sour.
I don't think I've ever heard that, but I'm
yeah.
going to use that from now on.
Yeah.
I hope you know that. I'm stealing that.
It's all yours.
You gave him a joke.
I know.
Yay.
Oh, that's a funny yoke.
All right, guys, but thanks so much for joining us this episode talking Mr. Bill Murray. Bill, if you happen to listen to this one, let us know if you liked it or if we forgot
We're
something.
open for interviews,
Yes.
Hey,
sir.
come on up. Hell, it doesn't even have to be an interview. Just come bullshit with
Yep.
us.
Yeah.
We'll also be giving you guys more updates as the weeks go on. You know, we're coming closer and closer to Sunscreen Film Festival. We'll have some people on to talk about that soon. I can't give you an exact time frame because I don't know yet, but we will give you whatever updates we can give you as it comes along. We'll have some people to talk about it, and then we'll just continue wrapping up before the festival here and come
right.
up with some more fun topics for you guys. And also, if there's anything we missed, we apologize as far as Bill Murray movies. You
Let
can
us
send us an
know.
email. Talk to us at movietalksandchill.com. But until then, for Movie Talks and Chill, we are your hosts. I am Tony Serrato.
I'm Gavin Butts.
I am burnt. I mean, Patrick Wall.
Get some aloe. All right, guys, take care.